need to worry, and there's no need for me to cry. And there's no need for me to cry. He promised you this word, he will. I'm gonna set that up. I know I look a mess right now. I know I do. I ain't even gotta tell me because I know. But good morning, everybody. You know, some of you may see the topic that I have talking about depression. You know, I think it's something that we as YouTuber creators, we need to talk more about, more life stuff that we see that's going on around us right now in our homes, on our jobs, in the community, in our city, in the state, in this world, that's leading to death, which is leading people to a place where they don't even want to live anymore. They gave up, you know, they've given up. So I want to talk about this. You know, I'm going to be very, very transparent today because I've been dealing with this with one of my very own children, and it's been heartbreaking. It's been very, very hard. And I know if I feel like this as a parent, then I can only imagine what it may feel like for someone who's dealing with a loved one and may not understand depression, anxiety, PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorders, how it affects them, how it affects your family, you know, how it affects you as a parent, how it affects you as a sibling, how it affects you as a spouse. You know, it is something that really, really affects the community, and nobody's saying anything about it. Everybody's quiet about it. Well, I don't want to be quiet anymore. You know, dealing with this situation is very, very hurtful, and it's very, very harmful. And it's not good for anybody, whether you're the person that's going through it or whether you know somebody who's going through it. It's very, very, very harmful. You know, it took me a long time to understand what depression is. It took me a long time to understand the side effects or what a person is going through when they're having an episode of PTSD, when they're having an episode of their highs and lows from bipolar depression. It took me a lot to understand what they were really going through when it was right up under my nose, and I didn't know it. I didn't recognize it. I didn't understand. I didn't know. You know, I just thought at one time that a person was just acting out for attention. And many of you may have thought the same thing for lack of knowledge, because we did not know, and because we didn't take the time to find out, or maybe you didn't even know what depression was. You know, for years, I didn't even know what depression was. I didn't even really know the word of depression, especially when I was a child. And I see my mother go through episodes and episodes of what is called depression. You know, I see my mom have days where she will cry, and those were the days that mama she would drink and drink. And I never could figure out why my mother would drink so much. You know, I didn't know that she was drinking to numb her pain. You know, we weren't Christians. We weren't saved at the time. I didn't even know who Jesus was at that age. I knew there was a God. I didn't know about prayer. I knew the only prayer I knew was to thank God for, and you know, the little prayer they say when you go to bed at night. No, I don't even know if that's a prayer. But anyway, let's just keep talking about the subject at hand. Depression is very, very hurtful. It's very, very scary, especially for those who are dealing with that spirit of depression. And it's very, very scary for them because they don't know how to control it, especially if they're not on any type of a medication, or if they don't have a relation. The most important thing, if they don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. You know, depression, that spirit tells them to do all kinds of things, especially the spirit of suicide. That spirit of depression is linked to so many other spirits, such as anger, frustration, crying, negligence, feeling rejected, going through the spirit of rejection. It causes the person to deal with a lot. You know, I just recently had gone through some episodes of one of my children, and I asked for her permission to talk about this without disclosing her name or her age. But anyway, just seeing her living through this every day of going through PTSD, dealing with bipolar depression. Can you imagine? Those things are horrible. PTSD, you may have heard of it with military people that come out the military. They PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorders. They've been traumatized by fighting in the military, going and hearing gunshots, running for their lives, sleeping with one eye open because they never know when the enemy is going to come and take them out. And then they get released and come home and they're still living with that mindset. So can you imagine going through that every day, until God delivers you and sets you free? Yes, medication. Yes, there is medication. Yes, people can take medication. There is counseling. But if you're not delivered, that spirit is still there. It's still there. And it's one of the things that's so hurtful is to see one of your very own, your children, your parent, or your spouse going through these spirits, going through and dealing with this here episodes. Help me, Lord. Help me, Jesus. Going through these episodes and you're not understanding what's happening to them. You're not understanding why they're crying so much. You're not understanding why they feel that they are so unloved. You know that you're pouring out everything that you can to give them the love that they need, to give them the love that they desire. But on the other hand, the enemy is telling them that nobody cares about you, nobody loves you, you're crazy, and you're fighting so hard against this. You're fighting so hard to keep your child alive or to keep your parent alive, and it feels like you're losing the battle because you lack of knowledge, because we're not knowledgeable about depression. We're not knowledgeable about what they are going through, what's going on with them. When I learned about it as an adult, there was a time when my mom was going through depression so bad. I found my mother in the restroom. And my mom, she had cut both of her wrists. And my mom was laying in a pool of blood, and I screamed, and I was a little girl, and I had nightmares, and I was scared, and thank you. And I called my siblings. We called the paramedics. Paramedics came. By the grace of God, thank you, Lord. Thank you for being on here, Mr. Motivator. By the grace of God, hi, Kaylee. God saved my mom's life. That was the one time that she did that. But I didn't know as a child that my mom was dealing with depression. Depression was sucking the life out of her. She wanted to be loved. She was in an abusive relationship, abusive marriage. That wasn't helping any. But remind you, as a child, I don't know nothing about depression and dealing with abuse. So my mom was going through, she may have been even dealing with post-traumatic stress disorders, but did not know it, because we didn't know what that stuff was. We didn't know. We knew what abuse was, but we didn't know what the actions or what was behind all of this that was happening to someone who has been abused. We didn't know. And if you don't know, then every day we're looking at them like, what's wrong with you? Like, we're looking at them like, what is really going on? And now I see this with my daughter, and I see the pain now. I see the hurt. I see the feeling like nobody loves her. And now I understand, like, they're not wanting to live, and going through those things like that are all a part of what people who suffer from depression, this is what they go through. Their mind is not settled. They're not thinking like we are thinking. They don't even have that freedom like we have to, to focus on life and to want to have what we want, because they're battling every day of their lives, so you need to take it easy on them. Those of you who are thinking that they're just doing this for attention, you need to take it easy on them. Those that are wondering why you so afraid of this and why you so afraid of that, look these things up. Look up PTSD, look up bipolar depression, look up manic depression, look and see what they are going through. Look and see. Look and see, because if you are a prayer warrior, then you know what to call out. You know what to fight in the spirit. I didn't know what my child was going through. I didn't know what my mother was going through. All I know is what I kept seeing happening over and over again. And when you go through bipolar depression, you don't know when that enemy is going to strike. You don't know that 1 minute you were just happy. What's going on? What's really going on? What's wrong? What happened? You don't know that in their mind, that spirit is telling them something else. That spirit is painting a picture that they don't like you, that they're against you, they don't care about you. My God, we need to really, really understand. We all had a better understanding of what is going on. Then we would be more gentle. We would be more gentle with them. We would be more understanding of them. We would, because let me tell you what happens when we come at them and we say stuff like, why you acting so stupid? Why you being this way? And this, you're pushing them further and further away. And I would hear my daughter always say things and I didn't understand. I'm going back in my shell. I'm like, what is she talking about? Till one day on a good day, I asked her, and her shell is like a little place where she goes and she feels like everything is blocked off and it's just her, and that's her peace. That's her safety zone. Nobody should have to go into a shell because they feel safer there, because they feel like the world is attacking them. When a person is having an episode, you need to be easy with them and be gentle as you possibly can until that thing has left, until they come down from what they are going through, instead of coming in and getting mad at them. And that's why a lot of women that are going through depression, and men, mainly women that are going through depression, suffer abuse of all kinds, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. They suffer all these different forms of abuse because the person that has gotten with them don't understand them. When they got with them, maybe they weren't having episodes, but now that they are with that person and they're having episodes, but you say you love that person, but you don't understand what's going on with that person. Maybe you need to try, if you watch this video, if this video just so happened to come across, listen to me. If I don't say nothing else, look up these symptoms, look up the things that the person is going through and see how can I help them? What can I do to calm them down? What can I do? What can I do? Let me tell you something. When you have a child that's suffering from depression, of a PTSD, and they're having an episode, you're trying everything in your best. You're trying everything to keep them alive. You're trying everything. You try to race to get there. You try your best to get there because you're so afraid. And I know I should not be afraid. I'm a child of God and I shouldn't be afraid. I just have to learn to trust God. But I'm just learning these things, even as a child of God, I'm just learning these things. So today I sat down and I just thought about everything. And I said, instead of trying to do God's job, you need to encourage somebody. And if it's you that's watching and you're dealing with depression, I understand you now. I understand. I really do. And if nobody ever tells you that they love you or they understand you, I love you and I understand you. And I pray that God would deliver you and set you free, as I pray that he would deliver my daughter and set her free as well. I used to throw at my daughter all the time. You need to get a relationship with God. She can't hear me. When she having an episode, they can't hear you. They don't want to hear nothing about God because that spirit of depression does not allow them to hear. They can sometimes become your enemy, not intentionally. So don't go in when they get like that and they come for you. Don't go in. I used to do that. I did that. I would go in. Here we go back and forth with words. And then after everything is all calm and the smoke is cleared and we're like, God, what did I do? Push her further and further and further away. Because I wasn't thinking, because I allowed my flesh to rise up. And now I'm arguing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, listen, please, y'all. This is so very important. We are losing so many people to suicide because they don't know what to do. because nobody is reaching them. Nobody is listening. Nobody is catching it ahead of time. Nobody. And so when you see there are signs, when you see them withdrawing themselves, when you see them not wanting to participate, when you see them crying all the time or being angry all the time, that's a clear sign that they are suffering from some type of a depression or something is going on with their mental health. And I'm not saying always drag them to the doctor and let them fill them up with all types of pills and all this. No, first thing to do is pray for them. Ask God, Lord, help them, deliver them from this spirit of oppression and depression in Jesus' name. It took me a long time to fight in prayer. It took me a long time to keep my mouth, quit all that going back and forth, quit getting angry, because getting angry ain't making it no better. You understand what I'm saying? I hope this is making sense to somebody, if it ain't but one person. I understand you now. I understand you that have PTSD. I understand you that have bipolar or any form of depression. I get it now. I understand. So, I hope your loved ones will understand that this is real. It's not a game. Nobody's putting on a show. Nobody's waking up and wanting to be angry just at they sleep. Nobody's waking up and wanting to be stay in their room all day long. I always ask too, and I'm gonna let y'all go. But people that call themselves introverts, that kind of like, why would a person want to never leave their house? Why does a person not want to be around people? I just don't get it. Why does a person not like to go places? That's a clear indication that there's something wrong. And maybe there's a form that you're dealing with, the spirit of a depression of some sort. I'm going to be doing more. I'm going to do a video on these things that I'm speaking of. I'm going to do a video on PTSD. You can email me, Mr. Motivator, at dsalone77@gmail.com, and we can go from there. But I just felt led to just pull this call over and let's talk about it, because ain't nobody really talking about it. You hear about it, but we need to really, really talk about it. We need to get on it because, yeah. So I love you all. I just thank y'all, whoever just stayed and watched the video. Thank you so much. God bless you. And look for that video that's coming soon. I'm gonna make it my business to break down these strong men, or what they are called, of depression that's plaguing the people. And I hope that it will help you and set you free in the name of Jesus. But God bless you. My name is Diana. Thank you again so much for watching this video. And hey, subscribe, because now it's time to turn these videos up to a notch, because I wasn't doing I wasn't doing what I needed to do when I created those other videos. But now I see it's time to turn this table around to help people become free. So God bless you again. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye-bye. Now let me see if I know how to cut this live off. Let's see.